Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So today I'm here to talk about BlackBerry. And where is it? And should we be worried? Well, I don't know where it's at, and I don't think we should be worried. And this was kind of spurred by an article that I saw today, written by PC Magazine. They decided to write an article, and just because I can't remember the exact title, I'm going to read it here. The title is, "We were promised a new keyboarded BlackBerry, so where is it? OnwardMobilty promised to release a new BlackBerry phone this year, but so far it's just adding staff members, not releasing details about a new mobile device." Well, that's kind of how things work, dude. Yes, we are coming up on 6 months. It was the middle of August when they said, ta-da, OnwardMobility is here, we're going to make a BlackBerry. And everybody was happy, everybody was excited. There's a lot of people that really want this device to happen. I'm one of them. I'm like in the front of the line because I really want this phone. But I don't think there's anything to worry about yet. I don't necessarily think they owe us anything because the ultimate goal of OnwardMobility and BlackBerry working together is to bring this phone to market and make it as good as possible, make it as secure as possible so that we can have a great device. And I think that they're probably doing that. But it's interesting to me that the guy that wrote this article says, well, they're talking about people they've hired to bring the phone to market but aren't telling us about the phone. Well, I think that that's totally normal. If you're going to bring a phone to market, and here's the thing, when you talk about BlackBerry, looking at what they're trying to do this go around is different than what they did with BlackBerry Mobile. BlackBerry Mobile was like, hey, we're going to try and get these in a couple carrier shelves, sell them on Best Buy, sell them on Amazon, and good luck, enjoy your keyboard phone. Well, BlackBerry really is focused on security. And this time around, it seems like the primary focus is more in the enterprise sector, where their traditional roots are, where it's important for them to get government contracts, for it's important for them to embed themselves and get long-term obligations from people to buy them from Department of Defense, from other nation states, from municipalities, wherever. It's always been a cornerstone of their business model is productivity and enterprise. So yes, it makes sense to me that this is not something that's out in the forefront. It makes sense to me that they hired somebody for international sales and government contracts. Those are really, really important. So if you're going to bring a BlackBerry to the market to sell it, you have to go out and get these commitments from people. I mean, they want to go and get people to buy the phone. And these are the large organizations, companies, countries, entities, wherever it is they're talking to, whoever's doors they're knocking on. That's important. So if you say, okay, we're going to hire the people to secure sales for this device, that tells me it's on the way. I'm not really worried that this phone won't happen. And some people are like, well, it won't be here till August. Oh, I've heard it won't be here till next year. Until I see something that's an official statement, I'm not going to listen to any of that. And I get a lot of people that send me messages. Someone's like, oh, I've got this insider information. I've got this inside thing that I heard. I know somebody who does this and I heard something from them. Look, that's great. But what we have is they said it was going to be here the first half of 2021. A lot of people seem to take that as it should have been here in January or February. This phone did not exist. When I talked to Peter back in like October, I think it was, they hadn't decided on a final design, at least not to my knowledge. So they had to, one, get this licensing agreement going. They started. It's not like day one, okay, we're ready to put these on shelves. They have to come up with the design, because I've said this before, they can't very well design a BlackBerry before they get the licensing agreement. You just can't do that. They could probably come up with some rough sketches, some ideas, some sales pitches, but ultimately they have to, one, come up with the design, two, make it, prototype it, test it, make sure they get the FCC clearance so it can operate on the networks, and get it in people's hands. So this is a time-consuming process. It's not something that happens overnight. Maybe that was the expectation because they came out and they said, hey, we're making a new phone. It's going to be here in the first half of 2021. That does, people are excited. It's something people really look forward to. And like I said, it's something I'm really looking forward to. But I take, anytime a phone company announces a timeline, I fully expect it to be like the last week of that timeline that it's going to come out. I don't expect it to be early on in that timeline. And we haven't seen anything pass through the FCC yet. If you're new to this game, when new phones come out, they have to get certified through the FCC so they can use the telephone networks to actually transmit signals and operate as a phone. So normally very close to when the phone gets ready to come out, you'll see it pass through the FCC. And back on BlackBerry and back in my major BlackBerry days and a lot of other times with news articles, they would pay attention to these. People will pay attention to what's going on at the FCC and see when these new phones come through. They'll see the device serial numbers. They'll see different indicators on it. Sometimes they'll just straight up say what it is. And then that would be like, okay, hey guys, it passed through the FCC. Like a month from now, this is imminent. So there's no indicator of that yet. Of course, yes, it could pass through covertly. I don't think that's very likely because this is going to be a public phone that people can get. I don't think they're that secret about it. But the thing is, one, they've got one shot at this. So if they're trying to say, hey, we're at this point in the game, that creates another expectation. So if you say, hey, we're right here, we expect to be here on this date, and then something doesn't happen or doesn't go according to plan, if you have a snafu, you have something that changes, then it's like, oh, they didn't deliver. Oh, we have these other problems going on. Oh, but now people are like, well, is it actually going to happen? Do they have a setback? Do people not want to buy it? Sometimes less is more. And you have to look at the overt signs of where we're getting. They're saying they've hired 2 new people in charge of foreign sales and government contracts. That tells me that they're probably talking to people now to try and get commitments for this new phone. So I would expect in the near future, probably very much close to May, June timeframe, and don't quote me on this, this is just intuition. This is just my sense of things and where we're at in the process. Yeah, I think we still have a little ways to go. I don't know if there's going to be leaks. And that's one of those things when it comes to Apple, when it comes to Samsung, all these other brands, they're established. They have major footprints with lots of people, lots of traffic, very often. And part of the release cycle, sometimes even cleverly released by the companies, you'll have leaks that come out and show off images, show off specs, show off promotional materials. I don't think that we're going to see that with BlackBerry. They're very tight-lipped about this stuff. They tried to be, even under John Chen with BlackBerry, where he basically said, look, we're going to hem this up. We're not going to have any more leaks. So I hope that tradition is carried over. I like some of the secrecy. I like the fact that likely we'll be surprised once this is finally announced. So don't worry. Don't get wrapped around the axle. When you see these articles from people, I don't know if they do this. Maybe the guy's a BlackBerry fan. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about his credibility. I just know that PC Magazine wrote an article. I saw it. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Talking about people. I mean, the guy went into detail talking about what people in BlackBerry are saying about this. And saying, oh, this, that. People are saying this. Like, don't get yourself caught up in those things. If they come out with an announcement and say, hey, it gets pushed back, they come out with an announcement and say, hey, it got pushed back. But as of right now, there is nothing to indicate that it's not going to be here on time. It's a very big window, folks. We're talking up to June 30th. If they say on June 30th they announce this phone, they have met their timeline. So we'll wait. Stay patient. Keep your ear to the ground. Stay tuned here because as soon as I find something out, I will let you know. Have some faith in the system. I know you've been burned. I know I've been burned in the past when it comes to BlackBerry. It's a very emotional phone. It's something people really, really care about. And it's something that, yes, can kind of irk you, rub you the wrong way, maybe make you anxious about what's going on because you haven't heard anything. I get it. And sometimes those thoughts pass through my mind. But I don't believe that BlackBerry would have entered into this licensing agreement if they were not going to guarantee this phone is going to come to market. 2, they wouldn't be going out and hiring people to secure contracts and sell these phones if it weren't on the way. So just wait. It'll be here before you know it. And I've said this multiple times before. It takes 8 to 10 months for Apple or Samsung to bring a phone to market, to get this phone ready, build it, manufacture it, and get it to where it can sell. So a startup company, OnwardMobilty, starting from scratch, getting this licensing agreement, we're just now almost 6 months into this, guys. So I would expect probably in the next 2 months, which builds us up to kind of the timeline I've talked about before, probably around April timeframe, we might hear something, probably late April. This is only an estimation on my part. I expect that probably around late April we'll hear something. I think that probably around the middle towards end of June is when you'll be able to buy it. And who knows when and what market it will be available in. Primarily, it's supposed to be available in the North American market, talking about the European market. And I read an article here that says that also they're pushing this for the Asian market, but It looks like that'll probably be a little bit later. It is intended to be a global flagship, which is cool. And I also saw in this maybe some sort of interview article by Nikkei, the news over in Japan, that, I believe it's in Japan anyway. Either way, the Nikkei news network, they have this article. You can find it online right now. Just type in Google BlackBerry, you'll see the news article. And they're saying that this one, of course, is going to be manufactured and made with FIH, but in the future, they want these phones to be made in North America. So that would be cool if they can pull that off in the future. Doesn't look like that's happening for this phone. So that's just a tidbit that I got from that as well. Global flagship level camera, also for the Asian market. So that's all I've got in this video. I just wanted to offer some assurance. Don't worry about what you see. Yes, read everything, take it with a grain of salt, formulate your own opinion, but just because you see an article from somebody who's like, seems like they're irritated or offended that BlackBerry hasn't personally told them, or OnwardMobility hasn't personally told them that there's a phone coming or more information about it, but you don't just email them and say, hey guys, can you tell me when this phone's going to be here? They don't just sit around and wait for somebody to send an email like, oh yeah, we're glad that you emailed us. Now, yes, we'll tell you. We'll unlock all the keys of the city. Here you go. Just because you sent us an email. We were waiting for this. So that's it, guys. It'll be all right. It'll be here when it gets here. If it's not going to be here on time, they'll make an announcement. That's how these things work. So as far as we know, going to be here on time, and we can enjoy it when it gets here. So that's all I've got. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully this has offered and helped with some assurance and clarity that right now everything's fine. And we'll just play it day by day and take it as it comes and see if we get any new information in the near future. And I, of course, will tell you as soon as I find out about it. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments or want further discussion on this, please go down to the comment section. We'll take care of that there. Glad to offer any commentary or thoughts that I can on the matter. But that's all I got. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.